An ostrich.
We found an ostrich.
We got an ostrich.
Let's eat it. Let's eat it.
We found an ostrich.
We got one. We got an ostrich. We got an ostrich.
Let's eat it. We have found an ostrich. May we eat it?
How do you know it's an ostrich?
It looks like one. Yeah, look at it. Look at it, look.
And what makes you think you can eat it?
It's got a fork in it. It has a fork in it.
Did you put a fork in it?
No, we didn't, no. Well, we did do the fork.
Were you going to eat it?
No. Yes. Well, yes, a little. Yes, a little bit.
But you may only eat it if it is a clean bird.
It is a bird. It is a bird. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. We can eat it. It's a bird.
Quiet, quiet. There are ways of telling if it is a clean bird. Tell me, what else is a bird?
My wife? A rock? A chicken? A chicken! A chicken! Yes, a chicken!
Ah, and what have chickens got?
Ketchup? Drumsticks?
Chickens have wings.
It's got wings. It's got wings. That means we can eat it. It has wings. We can eat it. It has wings. Let's eat it. It's got wings.
And what do they do with their wings?
They taste good?
No, birds fly. So, logically, if it cannot fly, it isn't a bird.
Oh, yeah.
And how can you tell if it can fly?
Push it off a cliff.
Exactly. The only way to be certain it's a bird is to throw it off a cliff. Now, when I was reading the list of unclean birds in Leviticus 11, one of them didn't fit. So verses 13 through 19 list all of these unclean creatures. But why are they all grouped together? What makes them all unclean? So here it is, Leviticus 11, 13 through 19. It says, "And these you shall regard as an abomination among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture, the buzzard, the kite, the falcon, the raven, the ostrich, the eagle owl, the short-eared owl, the long-eared owl, the hawk of any kind, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the white owl, the jackdaw, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, heron, hoopoe, and bat." But there's more. Most of these must be particularly tricky to translate because if you read other translations, well, we'll have to add about 8 more bird options. There's the gear eagle, the barn owl, the osprey, the water hen, Egyptian vulture, desert owl, scops owl, tawny owl. So, which 2 don't fit? The bat, obviously. Yep, you can cross that off because the bat isn't really a bird. But there's another bird that's different, and it doesn't quite fit. Okay, the intro might have spoilt it, but it's the ostrich. And not because it doesn't fly. There's something else. So what do all these birds have in common? What do they eat? In Australia, sometimes you'll walk outside and be welcomed by intestines lying on your front lawn. Where did they come from?
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Well, the sky. They were dropped there by an owl called a powerful owl, who will kill its prey, and then while it's flying, it'll discard the stomach and the intestines, leaving a nice present on your front lawn. But this kind of behaviour isn't only an owl thing. Eagles hunt prey like possums, mice, fish, rabbits, snakes, chihuahuas, lizards, and they'll even feed on carrion. That's dead animals. Kites and hawks and buzzards, again, they hunt prey like lizards, snakes, rabbits, and they won't shy away from consuming carrion. They'll eat other smaller birds too, and their eggs, just like the falcon, which primarily eats other birds. And vultures are primarily scavengers that are known as the desert cleaners because they consume decaying carcasses. And the raven is also basically a carrion scavenger. But we're going to do another video on the raven because she has a fascinating ancient history that features in the story of Noah's Ark. Keep going. The jackdaw is similar to the raven, but its name actually means thief because it steals food from other birds and it also eats their eggs. Water hens, storks, the cormorant, the hoopoe, and the heron, they'll all hunt small animals like fish and sometimes shrimp and eels, frogs, snakes, and other baby birds too. And the bat, even though it's not a bird, its diet is pretty similar. So as well as fruit, bats will eat insects, spiders, mice, frogs, lizards, and the vampire bat will feed on blood from living animals. So, do you get the picture? Could all these creatures be unclean because of their diet? They eat dead animals, carrion, snakes, blood, baby birds and their eggs. So a big part of their life relies on consuming death. In the Bible, what causes something to be unclean? So I've been relying or favouring Mary Douglas's theory that anything outside its created order is unclean. But Tim Mackey from Bible Project and Jacob Milgram both propose a theory that something is unclean if it is death related. I mean, these can both be true because death surely is outside of God's good created order. So why is the ostrich unclean? The ostrich does not rely on death for food. They don't hunt animals or eat carrion. They will eat insects, but mostly they prefer plants and flowers and roots and seeds. So at first I thought maybe the Bible translation might be wrong because some Bibles actually think the ostrich is an owl, but I'm glad I did my research because the ostrich has an amazing history. Biblical interpretation around this animal goes back a long way. So a fairly widespread ancient belief was that the ostrich was a mutant beast. It was a cross between a fowl and a camel. And, okay, get this, in some languages, even today, the ostrich is literally called a camel fowl. So in Persian, it's called a camel chook, and in Turkish, it's a camel bird. And for good reason, actually, because ostriches will happily roam around with other land animals, like antelopes and zebras. Plus, some ancient people thought the ostrich had a cloven hoof, leading them to assume the ostrich was a quadruped that had lost its front legs. And quadrupeds have eyelashes, but birds generally don't. And so looking into the ostrich's beautiful lashes fed this belief that the ostrich was a mutant quadruped. And yet, the Bible clearly identifies the ostrich with birds. So it's probably not unclean because of its mutant camel or cow features. There's something else about the ostrich that might make it unclean. It's where they live. They don't need to drink water, and so they're quite happy in arid places, even deserts. So typically they live in lowlands, on the outskirts of towns and villages, and they'll often shelter among ruins. So in the Bible, Isaiah talks about thorns growing up in an abandoned tower and weeds overtaking a city, saying, "It will be a haunt of jackals and a habitat of ostriches." That's from Isaiah 34. Whenever the ostrich is mentioned in the Bible, it's a way of implying abandonment, a barren life outside the camp in the wilderness. And in the Bible, outside the camp or outside the city is an unclean place. So again in the Bible, Lamentations mentions ostriches in the wilderness. Isaiah calls jackals and ostriches beasts of the field. And Jeremiah condemns an enemy city, saying, "The desert creatures will live there along with the jackals. The ostriches will also live in it, and it will never again be lived in or dwelt in." So, while the rest of the birds in Leviticus 11 are probably unclean because they're birds of prey, or they're death scavengers, the ostrich is probably unclean because it lives in unclean places, outside the camp, in the wilderness where goat demons roam. The ostrich appears as a strange beast, mingling with jackals, acting more like a camel than a bird, living in abandoned ruins. But you may only eat it if it's... But you may only eat it if it is...
They taste good?
But you may only eat it if it is a clean bird.
No.
Chickens have wings.
They taste good?